going on, Jerome's? So, as a Cris Carter apologist, and we've been over, like, CC was my first favorite Viking, right? Just wearing the Cris Carter with the iron-on numbers, just getting it worn out, all the backyard pickup football games and all that stuff. Just like CC, for like any millennial kid, like growing up in the 90s, like CC was it. HOF, all that stuff. And I didn't expect CC to get mired in controversy this weekend, but it happened. So it started as all things do, pretty innocuously. So Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson always runs his mouth, talking about how Travis Hunter couldn't cover him and all that stuff. And then Cris Carter kind of talked about how Chad Johnson, back in my day, and he's a very self-aware boomer. Like Cris Carter was talking about how it was always better back in my day and all that stuff, and Chad Johnson didn't even know how to run routes and blah 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 blah. So basically, it was kind of a throwaway comment, right? Basically, he's saying like, "Hey, respect Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter can lock you up, Chad." Blah blah blah. Even though Chad Johnson was a dude back in the day, or Ocho, whatever we call him nowadays. Anyways, but. Then enter Asante Samuel Sr, because we're not signing Asante Samuel Jr. anymore after this. But Senior took it to a weird spot. Like Senior, I understand what Asante Samuel Sr. is doing. Like he competed against Chad Ocho Cinco when they were players. They're probably friends. I get your stand up for your guy, but it got really weird and kind of oddly personal in this, right? So Asante is pictured here. Like Asante Samuel was a good player back in the day. Like, and I'm not trying to do the argument thing. It's like, hey, well, this guy can't talk about my guy because he was down here. No, Asante Samuel was a really good corner, like a borderline Hall of Famer, but not in. Eligible since 2019, not in the Hall of Fame. Won a couple Super Bowls, won 2 Super Bowls, could have been 3 if he made this pick in the Tyree helmet catch game, but I digress. Anyways, but it was weird. So this is what Asante Samuel Sr. had to say. Thank you for the 2 Super Bowl wins, with the Brady jersey behind you. Yeah. CC is really beside himself coming for Chad Johnson. I thought it was Ocho Cinco. And he was nothing more than a possession receiver. Woo! That's all Cris Carter was. A possession receiver, a receiver that catches the ball and is immediately tackled. We call that Rudolph yards. That's what a possession receiver is. They have no yards after catch. Cris Carter is overrated. To be honest, he is really talking about himself. Cris Carter is one of the most overrated cornerbacks. He actually said cornerbacks. It is diatribe, but it happens. To ever come into the NFL or into the Hall of Fame. I agree. Cris Carter couldn't cover anyone. Cris Carter was a garbage cornerback. Understand what I'm saying? As a cornerback, I think that's where he gets wires crossed. What do I have to worry about covering a guy like Cris Carter? He's going to run a nice crispy route and get tackled immediately. Okay, I'm not worried about him running past me. No one's worried about him running past him. So what does field put court in cornerback or defense? What Cris Carter did his career wasn't anything special. Maybe above average, but it wasn't anything special. So again, just recap what it. So basically, Cris Carter calling out Chad Johnson for calling out Travis Hunter. Now, Cris Carter was kind of jovial about it. He was like, "Come on, man." It really was that sort of tone. But Asante, I don't get this one. Asante basically took the flamethrower to CC for no reason. Absolutely not. And he didn't. So everyone always talks about like former players. Well, former players played the game at a high level. So blah, blah, blah. And Asante Samuel, like we said, was a bad dude. All right, he was a good cornerback. But he never competed against Cris Carter. How does he know? Right? And for all the Cris Carters, well, Cris Carter would just run a route and catch a ball. What are you going to do? Okay. Cris Carter, 6th in the NFL all-time in catches, 13th in yards, and 4th in receiving touchdowns. I feel like you have to be a little bit worried. Or hey, if you're a defensive coordinator or if you're a cornerback getting ready to play the Vikings and Cris Carter, it's like, oh, you don't have to worry about him. The guy who had back-to-back 122 catch seasons, the guy who had, was it 8 straight, 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons? Oh, don't worry about him. The guy who, after age 30, put up 17, led the league in touchdown catches 3 times. We don't have to worry about him because Asante Samuel Jr. says that he's just a possession receiver. We don't have to worry about him because he can't run by me. God, it's ridiculous, man. Does he know that Jerry Rice ran a 4.8 40? Something like that. And I wanted to avoid this because I didn't want to do the thing where you make the argument for your guy by tearing down the other guy. All right, that doesn't do anything. But if we're gonna go there, honestly, Asante is standing up for his guy Chad Johnson. I mean, Chad Johnson will probably even agree. I mean, Cris Carter was a bad dude. But Chad Johnson leads them in rushing attempts. Oh no, oh lordy, I got the vapors. But in terms of Hall of Fame, check. Championships, we'll always have 98 CC. 8 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. Should have been more All-Pro teams, but so it is what it is there. But actually, this is the end of the argument. Hey, Asante Samuel Sr., who's been eligible for the Hall of Fame since 2019, if we wanted to rip on that. Or maybe he's just bitter about that. Maybe he's just bitter that CC's in the Hall of Fame and he's not. He's got that green jacket, gold jacket. Who gives a hoot? But, CC HOF. That's all you have to worry about. Plus, I feel like Cris Carter actually has the gravitas to critique Chad Johnson because they played the same position. It's perfectly fine. Like I said, Asante Samuel Jr., Sr., keep mixing them. Asante Samuel Jr. is never coming to the Vikings now, by the way. Asante Samuel Sr., he never played against Cris Carter. He played at high level. He played against Chad Johnson, sure, but he never played against Cris Carter. What is he doing? Is he watching old films? Is he watching the box scores? We don't have to worry about Cris Carter. Yeah, we don't have to worry about the guy who led the league in touchdown receptions 3 times in 5 years. Yeah, don't worry about it. Plus, it's weird. He led the league in catches with 122 in 1994. He did not lead the league in catches in 1995 because, was it Herman Moore or Rob Moore? One of the Moores. One of the Moore receivers caught more. Fun, man. But yeah, CC, this is it. This is the entire argument right here. This it HOF. That's all I got to worry about, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Asante Samuel Sr. oddly calls out Cris Carter, for no reason whatsoever either. Let us know your thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best you know what to do. Skull production value.